United States has been creating new pathways for international graduates to practice medicine without completing a medical residency. This has been a hot topic in recent years, sparking numerous conversations and having a significant impact on the community. In December 2023, the Advisory Commission on Additional Licensing Models was established by the Federation of State Medical Boards, FSMB, INTELF, and the Accreditation Council for Graduate Medical Education, ACGME. The Advisory Commission was primarily formed to provide guidance on additional pathways for state licensure of physicians who have completed their training and practiced outside of the United States. On June 18th, more than 175 individuals representing state medical licensing boards and organizations involved in medical education, accreditation, and certification, along with members of the public, gathered in Washington, D.C., for a one-day symposium hosted by the Advisory Commission on Alternate Licensing Models. The symposium provided a forum for attendees to exchange ideas and discuss legislative, regulatory, and procedural considerations for implementing alternative pathways for medical licensure. These conversations built on discussions held during the Advisory Commission's inaugural meeting on April 5th, 2024, also in Washington, D.C., which responded to the growing interest of state legislatures in modifying traditional postgraduate training requirements for licensure or creating new licensure categories to improve access to care amidst a nationwide physician shortage. The Advisory Commission compiled draft preliminary recommendations in response to the increasing interest of U.S. state and territorial legislatures in modifying traditional postgraduate training requirements for the licensure of physicians who have completed their training internationally by eliminating the traditional requirement for completion of ACGME-accredited graduate medical education, GME, in the U.S. The draft preliminary recommendations, outlined in 9 specific areas, largely focus on eligibility requirements or considerations for entry into additional licensure pathways for physicians trained internationally. These recommendations aim to support the alignment of existing and future policies and statutes. The public comment period runs through December 6. After the public comment period ends, the Advisory Commission will review the feedback and comments received and release its preliminary guidance for formal consideration in early 2025. So let's discuss the draft here. Recommendation 1. Advises delegating rulemaking authority to state medical boards to implement new licensure pathways for internationally trained physicians. It emphasizes the need for additional resources, funding, and staffing to support the increased workload. Shows states should consider starting with a pilot program in primary care specialties, especially in underserved areas, to build infrastructure and trust before expanding to other specialties. The recommendations focus on ensuring medical boards are empowered and adequately resourced to handle these new pathways. Recommendation 2 states that internationally trained physicians must have a job offer from a qualified medical facility to apply for additional licensure pathways. This facility must have the infrastructure to supervise and assess the physician's proficiency. Recommendation 3 mandates that applicants hold ECFMG certification, demonstrating graduation from a recognized medical school as verified by organizations like the WHO or the World Directory of Medical Schools. This certification includes proof of passing the USMLE Steps 1 and 2 and English proficiency through the OET. States may also request additional documentation of the physician's medical education, utilizing resources like INTELF's Electronic Portfolio of International Credentials, EPIC. Recommendation 4 states that applicants for additional licensure pathways must have completed postgraduate training, PGT, outside the United States that is substantially similar to ACGME-accredited residency programs. Due to variability in international PGT quality and structure, state medical boards should define what substantially similar means. Boards may consider alternatives like apprenticeship or case-by-case evaluations to assess eligibility. They can also use proxies, such as ACME International Accreditation, to verify training quality. Recommendation 5 requires internationally trained physicians to be fully licensed or authorized to practice medicine in another country and to have at least 3 years of medical practice experience. This license must be in good standing And state medical boards should verify the physician's disciplinary and criminal background through primary source documentation. Recommendation 6 suggests that states should limit the time an international physician can be out of active practice before applying for an additional licensure pathway. This aligns with existing re-entry guidelines for physicians in the U.S. Many states propose a re-entry process for those inactive for over 2 years. However, flexibility is important, as continuous practice may be challenging for applicants facing immigration issues or personal circumstances, such as caregiving or health challenges. Recommendation 7 requires internationally trained physicians seeking full medical licensure to first obtain a temporary provisional license, typically supervised by a licensed physician in their specialty. This supervision helps them adapt to the U.S. healthcare system. States may set the provisional period to 2 or 3 years, with some proposing a 2-step progression to a restricted license. Ongoing assessment and employer support during this period are essential for ensuring cultural and operational integration. Recommendation 8 stipulates that internationally trained physicians should be eligible for full, unrestricted medical licensure upon completing their provisional period. However, state medical boards retain the authority to assess each applicant's merits before granting licensure. States may require passing USMLE Step 3 and having no pending disciplinary actions during the provisional period. It is suggested that boards collaborate with legislatures to ensure their ability to evaluate applicants thoroughly. Recommendation 9 emphasizes the importance of standard data collection for evaluating the effectiveness of additional licensure pathways for internationally trained physicians. It suggests tracking metrics such as the number of applicants, provisional licenses granted or denied, full licensure achieved, practice settings, and the rate of board certification. This data will help assess whether these pathways effectively address USM's healthcare workforce shortages and identify any barriers to practice. If you want to read the complete documents, I will leave the link in the description box below. Additionally, the Advisory Commission encourages interested parties to submit comments about the draft recommendations through December 6, 2024. I will include this link here. In conclusion, the development of these new pathways for internationally trained physicians reflects an effort to address the pressing physician shortage in the U.S. By implementing recommendations from the Advisory Commission, states can create a more inclusive and effective healthcare system that leverages the skills and experiences of international graduates.